What types of resources exist on Earth? Natural resources can be grouped based on how fast they can be replaced. Some natural resources are non-renewable, others are renewable. Non-renewable resources. Some resources such as coal, petroleum, and natural gas take millions of years to form. A non-renewable resource is a resource that's used much faster than it can be replaced. Renew means to begin again. When non-renewable resources are used up, people can no longer use them. Renewable resources. Some natural resources such as trees and fresh water can grow or be replaced quickly. A renewable resource is a natural resource that can be replaced as fast as it's used. Many renewable resources are only renewable if people do not use them too fast. For example, wood's usually considered a renewable resource. However, if people cut down trees faster than the trees can grow back, wood is no longer a renewable resource. Some renewable resources, such as the sun, will never be used up, no matter how fast people use them. Reading check. Define. What is a non-renewable resource? Here we go. A non-renewable resource is a resource that is used much faster than it can be replaced. So, that's what I'm going to write. Take a look. Number 4, explain. Describe how some renewable resources can become non-renewable resources. I see. If people cut down trees faster than the trees can grow back, wood's no longer a renewable resource. So, let's see here. If we use it up too fast, it cannot be replaced. So that's what I'm going to write. How can we protect natural resources? Whether the natural resources you use are renewable or non-renewable, you should be careful how you use them. In order to conserve natural resources, you should try to use them only when you have to. For example, leaving the water running while you're brushing your teeth wastes clean water. Turning the water off while you brush your teeth saves water so that it can be used in the future. The energy we use to heat our homes, drive our cars, and run our computers comes from natural resources. Most of these resources are non-renewable. If we use too much energy now, we might use up these resources. Therefore, reducing the amount of energy you use can help to conserve natural resources. You can conserve energy by being careful to use it only when you need to. The table shows some ways you can conserve energy. So for instance, instead of leaving the lights on all the time, you can turn them off when you're not in the room. Recycling is another important way that you can help to conserve natural resources. Recycling means using things that have been thrown away to make new objects. Fewer natural resources are used up to make objects from recycled materials than from materials that aren't recycled. Recycling also helps to conserve energy. For example, it takes less energy to recycle an aluminum can than to make a new one. Conserving resources also means taking care of them, even when you're not using them. For example, it's important to keep our drinking water clean. Polluted water can harm the living things, including humans, that need water in order to live. Critical thinking. Explain, why is it important to conserve all natural resources, even if they're renewable resources? Okay, let's see here. It's important to conserve even renewable resources so that we don't use them too quickly and make them non-renewable, like those trees we read about on the last page. Take a look. Brainstorm, fill in the blank spaces in the table with some other ways you can conserve natural resources. Well, I know that when I'm done using a piece of paper, instead of throwing that piece of paper away, I could make it into a paper airplane in order to have something to play around with. I also know that if I was to use a different kind of cup, instead of using a cup that I throw away, if I used a cup that could be reused, I'd be saving the number of cups that get used, and I'd be saving the trees that it takes to make those cups. Identify. How does recycling conserve natural resources? Well, let's see. When you recycle, you reuse the resources, so it uses less new resources.